In this video, we will see how we can make a test case pass or fail based on the null status of the object or data. So sometime we will have such kind of scenario where we need to check whether a data type or whether a class or whether a object or any member having null value or not, and based on that we want to make a test case pass or fail. Then as a class we have two methods available: is null, is not null. So using that, based on our requirement, we can make test case pass or fail. So let's see that. For that, what I'll do, I will define a list of integer. Okay, so and I have instantiated this particular list with the new keyword. Now if I want to verify whether the list is this particular variable is null or not, so based on that, if I want to make a decision whether to pass a test case or fail a test case, then in Assert class Assert dot there is a method called is null check. So for null check, it will just check whether your data you want to check of a null value or not. So now this will check if it is null, it will pass. If it is not null, then it will fail your test case. Here if you see, I have initialized this list variable with the new keyword. That means this is not holding any null value. If it is not holding any null value, if you are using is null, then your test case is going to fail, because the is null, if you see the description, it is saying that test whether the specified object is null. Okay, so if it is not null, then it will throw exception and it will fail the case. So let's run this, or we can debug this just to show you where it is not null. And if now you can see inside this null, inside this list, it is not null, something it is holding the value. So if I run this, then this particular test case is going to fail, because is null, it is checking whether your object is null or not, and this is not null because we have initialized this. Now to do the negative test here, so now what I do, I will explicitly make this. Now we have initialized here, but here I am initializing this to null value. Now this test case will pass here. So now if you run it, now this will pass, because now the list is null. Okay, so let's try to debug once again. So now if you see, if you hover in this list, now you can see there is a value is null. Till here it is not null, but when explicitly we are assigning null to it, then this assertion will pass. So if you have such scenario where you want to check whether your object is null, based on that, if you want to pass your test case, then you can use is null. Okay, based on that, it will pass off from the test case. Similarly, the opposite of this, we have is not null as well. So what it will do, it will just do the reverse of is null. That means in this particular instance, till here the value is not null. So here we are making the list as a null. It is saying that is not null. Okay, now if I will run this test case, then definitely this test case is going to fail, because here it is null, but if you hover on this, it is saying that it is to test whether a specific object is not null. So here explicitly we are making this list as a null. Due to that reason, this test case is failed. So if you are using this is not null, then it will check the object holding a value or not. If it is not holding anything, if it is holding null, it will fail the test case. So now let's remove this. Okay, now in this list here we have initialized it. So now the list is not having any null value. So now if you'll run it, now this will pass. Okay, so now based on your test case, if you have some scenario where you want to check a object is returning null or not, and based on that, if you want to do an assertion, then probably you can use either Assert.IsNull or Assert.IsNotNull.